finally sat down and read Jennifer Abel's amended third-party complaint against Stephanie Jones. So to recap, main case, very first complaint that was filed, Lively versus Baldoni, Wayfarer, Heath, Abel, and Nathan. Abel is included in several of the claims, mostly about the retaliation, about the smear campaign, right? That she helped facilitate that. Abel then filed a third-party complaint bringing Stephanie Jones into that case, saying to the extent that I'm being sued for this, I did it all at your firm, under your guidance and at your direction. And so if I'm liable for it, you're liable for it. If I get a judgment against me, you should pay it. If I have lawyer fees, you should pay them. Stephanie Jones, of course, did not like that. Who would? And she filed a motion to dismiss that third-party complaint. Rather than respond to the motion to dismiss, Jennifer Abel just filed an amended complaint attempting to cure the things that Jones had pointed out in her motion, to say, we don't have to rule on a motion to dismiss. I'll just file a better complaint. And so that's what this amended third-party complaint is. So this amended third-party complaint does two things. It adds a claim, which I'll tell you about. It also adds significantly more allegations attempting to support Abel's position that everything she did in this whole PR smear campaign, PR war about It Ends With Us, she did all under the guise of working at Jones Works, and therefore Jones Works should be on the hook for whatever she's liable for. So she had some allegations about this in the original third-party complaint, but she really beefed it up this time, and she added stuff like this. She's like, look, this was well within the scope of my job at Jones Works. I worked exclusively full-time at Jones Works as a PR professional. I was assigned to work for the Wayfarer account. Wayfarer was a client of Jones Works. Therefore, everything I did for Wayfarer and Baldoni and Heath, I did as a Jones Works employee. Therefore, Jones Works has to indemnify me. So she does a better job of like linking the whole chain together this time, and saying, you know, this was all done while I was a Jones Works employee. Now, of course, Stephanie Jones is going to say, when you started going behind my back and planning to leave, then you weren't working for Jones Works anymore, right? You were working with Melissa Nathan. So maybe, you know, half the hours in the day you were working for me, but the other half of the hours in the day you were working for her. And like, who was Jennifer Abel's actual boss during that transition time? I think that's a fact question that's probably going to get kicked down the road, in my personal opinion. But Abel does a better job this time of sort of, from a legal standpoint, putting together the chain of events and the syllogism that you need to say, I worked for Wayfarer. Wayfarer was represented by Jones Works. Therefore, everything I did on behalf of Jones Works. Now, she cites Blake's first amended complaint, which is smart, right? Because she's like, this is the thing I'm asking to be indemnified for, these claims being made against me. And in the complaint against me, Lively has said that my position at Jones Works gave rise to the retaliation campaign. So if the case that I'm in says that my position at Jones Works gave rise to my liability, then you're damn right I'm going to go after Jones Works to indemnify my liability. So that I thought was really smart. The other thing she said that was really interesting, I hadn't thought about it this way, was that, remember at the end, so like when she was getting ready to leave and stuff started getting really nasty with Abel and Jones, and everyone has alleged that, they all allege and agree that it got nasty then. But that's when Abel claims Jones like stepped in and all of a sudden cared about Wayfarer, if she hadn't cared about them in a really long time, and that she jumped in and was trying to like all of a sudden care about it and fix it, and that she was doing things that nobody wanted her to do. And in fact, Heath told her stand down and she said no. Jennifer Abel uses that allegation to say, the fact that she jumped in to try to stop what I was doing with Wayfarer proves that Wayfarer was still Stephanie Jones's client. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to do that. Oh, and by the way, her jumping in and doing that made the situation a million times worse and arguably created the very liability that's the reason that I'm stuck here. So I thought she did a much better job this time of, again, like kind of giving those links in the chain. Will it be enough to overcome a motion to dismiss if Stephanie Jones files an amended motion to dismiss to the amended complaint? I do not know. I don't know whether she will try or not, but I think this one has a much better chance of getting through the motion to dismiss stage. She also adds a claim for contribution. So contribution is a flavor of indemnification. It's just a lesser flavor. So indemnification is saying, if I get a $5 million judgment against me, you're going to pay $5 million. Contribution is saying, if I get a $5 million judgment against me, I'm going to need you to kick in 2.5 or something. You are at least partially responsible. So she's just added that as sort of an alternative claim. I think you're totally responsible, but even if you're not totally responsible, you're partially responsible, which makes legal sense to me. She also took this opportunity to sort of say the quiet part out loud, which is after she's talking about, all of this stuff. I was working at JonesWorks and Stephanie jumped in, and all of this is what led to this situation. This is where all the sort of smear campaign allegations came from. Is she says that the only reason why JonesWorks and Stephanie Jones were not sued by Blake Lively, along with all of the rest of us, is because those two are in cahoots about the messages, right? So she makes it clear that, if this were a case where you were actually going after the people who had caused the damage, who had caused the retaliatory acts to take place, she would have included Stephanie along with all of the rest of us. The only reason she didn't is because those two are in cahoots. So just because Blake decided to leave Stephanie out doesn't mean I have to leave her out. I'm pulling her back in. Again, I thought it was better. I don't know whether Stephanie Jones will go after it again, and we're just going to be in motion to dismiss land for the rest of our lives. But I thought it made the argument much, much clearer as to why this should at least be kicked down the road to do discovery on, and to allow this indemnification claim to stay in place, which is tremendous leverage for Abel over Jones. Because Jones, again, like we said when this first happened, this puts Jones in a place where she is aligned in some regard with Wayfair and Baldoni. Because if they lose, she might have to pay for it. So, I think it certainly makes the case more interesting.